All right, so I want to get right into this, giving you guys the timely updates as we are getting close to a weekly closure. And I want to go over the latest trades, how things have been closed out, how I'm navigating the markets, and how I'm viewing everything. Weekly time frame, we'll start off here. What is the most important thing that we need to know as Bitcoin investors? What do we need to do with our positions? What do we need to do with our positional trades, our long-term positions? Listen, guys, we are in a bull market, right? So we are going to view any kind of significant dips on the order of 20 to 30% as buying opportunities, allowing us to size up for a much larger movement. We also need to be very much aware of the fact of how much the risk of pullbacks intensifies after parabolic movements. All right. The last time we had a parabolic movement in Bitcoin, we can see right here, that lasted from October until December of 2023. And then we went sideways. We went sideways for about 2 months before finally breaking out into another parabolic movement. And so going sideways here is probably the best scenario. That is probably the best case scenario. Going sideways, holding the $65,000 support would be very good. Previous all-time high, all right? Obviously 69K being the previous all-time high, but I don't expect that to hold as support. We've already broken that as support. That's actually where we're currently trading, slightly beneath. You can see that we did wick down here very closely to this more critical level of support, I do believe. That's 64,000. Although it is my personal opinion that that might not hold. If we do see a pullback, we are probably looking at 60K. That would be putting us right on the order of those 15 to 20% pullbacks that we get, right around 12%. So that's all well and good. Okay. What things do we need to pay attention to that would make us potentially bearish right now? Well, we have redlined volatility for the second week in a row. All right. Whenever we redline on volatility, it's just simply, this is a measurement that calculates volatility via the Bollinger Bands. The farther they are apart, the higher the volatility is in this particular thing. This indicator literally stands for BBWP, but this has been a fantastic addition to my toolkit. You can see here that the last time we redlined during the 2021 run up, we had one more week of limited upside, and then we went sideways for a month before another breakout. So exactly like the pattern that we saw here, but if we do overlay the 2021, if we do an analog model, if we overlay 2021 over the current rally, we can see that we followed along very nicely, but we did have a 25% pullback at this point in time in the last rally. So the first week of redlining volatility, we have a 25% pullback, then basically trade back up to the top of the range and break out. So if we do experience a 20 to 25% pullback over the next few weeks, I am going to be looking at that as a long-term buying opportunity. Again, everyone that listen, all the normies are coming out of the woodworks. Google search trends are up. I just saw the latest report that Google search trends for BTC have actually now surpassed things like Beyonce and Super Bowl searches. So again, the normies are returning, and I think people are not prepared for the amount of capital that is about to be injected into these markets. ETF flows have been absolutely dominating everything. And where we're going is going to be pretty insane. All right. But we are still going to be having pullbacks. So weekly time frame, we are redlining in volatility. As I said, TSI is still bullish. So that's going to be our main trend determination indicator that we're going to be using right here. And RSI is, of course, extremely overbought and pulling back, the most overbought that we have seen in this rally thus far. Actually, no, we did get more overbought back in January of 2020. Oh, yeah, January of 2021 is the last time weekly RSI has been this oversold. So again, we are looking very much like this area of the market that we experienced back in 2021, where we went parabolic at that time, making a new all-time high, and then pulling back about 25%. All right. And again, a 25% pullback from right here, well, we have to measure from the top. A 25% pullback from the top would be putting us down around 54,000. So basically just reclaiming, filling in this fair value gap, and basically coming back down here to kind of test the upper echelons of previous resistance. All right. Just basically coming down to this zone right here, which is still a very good zone, very good reentry opportunity. All right. So if we do experience this over the next couple of weeks, I don't want you guys to be mega panicked and as Bitcoin dumps literally as I'm saying this. So let's speed up a little bit in case you guys do need to make some changes and decisions. All right. So I am short on BTC. I did open up a short yesterday. I suggested to all the individuals in the premium trading group to close out long positions to manage long risk, for altcoins that were in profit to move those stop losses up to profitable positions or continue closing them, consider closing them. And then we did go short on BTC. So far everything is going according to plan. We've already hit TP1 on this movement. So for traders who are in the premium trading group, who are following along with this, make sure that your stop losses have been moved down into profit, that everything is looking good for your trades, and that you're in a no loss situation. All right. Why did I take this position? Well, on the daily time, let's first off, let's just go over the daily time frame and see what today is suggesting. All right. We already had signals to close out long positions. Of course, RSI has been a little choppy over the last few days. So if you're using the aggressive version of the strategy and essentially entering in on every RSI crossover, we did get chopped here and here because we did have 2 re-entry signals. But here we got told to get out. Here we got told to get out the very next day. So anytime that in and of itself is a warning signal. When you start getting a lot of chop from your trending indicators and you have multiple positions back to back get chopped out almost instantaneously, kind of lets you know that this is not an area of the market you should be trading in, and that you should either switch to a high volatility strategy on a lower time frame, most likely, or what you need to do is just sit this area of the market out. And at that point in time, we definitely do want to be closing long risk. So on the daily time frame, we have broken down below the 9 exponential moving average. So we have lost the immediacy of the current upwards trend. We have come down and tested the 21 daily exponential moving average, back testing up. What things to watch for over the weekend is seeing if we can get a break, a close back above 68,924 on a lower closing basis, like an hourly or a 4-hour candle above 68,924, essentially where the daily 9 EMA is coming in at, would be our first hint of an aggressive buyback at this point in time. TSI on the daily, as I was just talking about, it's gotten chopped up here just a little bit, but giving us a very clear and powerful signal to the downside now at this point in time. And so if you are trading counter trend, we are looking at a short signal right now. All right, a daily swing short signal. But again, this is not really the trade that I'm going to be taking because I'm not taking daily counter trend setups. I am taking meso time frame counter trend setups though, because I did see the setup on the 4-hour, which I'm going to be talking about here very shortly. So we did have this regular bearish divergence coming in from the RSI. We had regular bearish divergence coming in on the TSI as well. So both of these indicators were warning that we were going to be getting a sell-off, and obviously BBWP just kind of coming back down into lower volatility, but we have no BBWP signal yet. So again, what does all this mean? It's a lot. All of this basically means that this area of the market was weak, and we did have clear early warning signs. This is how a trader like me was able to identify that the correct move was to short. And I'll tell you exactly what I noticed that made me realize this. So as I came down to the 4-hour time frame, I noticed, and I'm going to contrast this area of the market with the previous area of the market. So I'm going to move my cursor over. I'm going to move my cursor over so that we can basically see this last run up, all right, that I'm comparing this to. Now, if you analyze this run up, and I'll take the EMAs off, right? But if you analyze this run up, you can see that there is very little selling pressure, right? Sellers come in here, all right? We get a little bit of a down movement, okay? And sellers come in here, but all of these movements are very weak. All of these movements are very weak overall. We're able to hold consistent support here. We don't break any new lows, as you guys can see in this consolidation range. Right where I have my cursor making a horizontal line is the support level that was there for that range. There was no scary, significant selling that broke prices down to new lows. Now, if we compare that with this run up that we just experienced in BTC, and I'll get zoomed in here so you can see a little bit better, this is a very different scenario. So look, we have the initial breakout, and here we have kind of the same thing, prices going sideways, holding a nice consistent support, higher low here leading to another run up, and then huge chunk down, huge sell off, massive sell off. All right, this is scary. Another run up, another big sell down, breaking levels of support, another big sell down. And then finally, I just identified yesterday this next leg of the sell down. And I was like, all right, well, this is the 4th time that sellers have attempted to sell in this range. You have to identify these patterns, and you have to see the motivations and the machinations of those who are significantly moving the market. Why are these people selling? Well, okay, that's pretty easy to surmise. Bitcoin is at a new all-time high. Of course they're trying to sell. Of course they're trying to get as much as they can for what they're trying to get as much as they can out of their positions, right? We have just anytime something is at a new all-time high, it's very logical. Everybody wants to sell here. This is where everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell at the top. So why wouldn't they be selling here? Come on, you just got to think about it for a second. But the fact that they're selling came in such volume and with such strength that we can see all of these big attempts to break the market down that did not occur on our previous run up, right? That I just contrasted this against. There's the previous run up that I just contrasted that against. So this was indicating to me, I saw the weakness in the market. And after price initially crashed down to 68 and bounced back on this 4-hour candle, this 4-hour candle is exactly where I opened our short position yesterday. It was on this 4-hour candle to the upside that I closed out almost all my long positions, that I went short on BTC and held that position open. Not a full risk short, although kind of larger than I was expecting. So 4-hour swing short. I feel very good about the position. Ultimately targeting something down around 60,000, because that would be, let's see, just from peak to trough here, would be about 18%. All right, that'd be an 18% movement. And we have been experiencing 20% pullbacks. That's the worst pullback that we've experienced in this bull market. I could see something worse, right? Like price could come down here to the 55. That would make a lot of sense to me. All right, and that would be something more like a 25% pullback. As I said, they'd be bringing us down to 55. That would also be if I extended this out to the right, this previous channel that we were trading in, that we broke out of. So we were trading in this ascending channel, broke out of the channel to the upside. This would just simply be a return to the top of the trading channel. And then the big question would just be, okay, well, do we get accepted back inside the trading channel and potentially go all the way to the bottom of it? Or do we find, establish this as firm support and move to the upside? So I am of the belief, of course, of the latter, that we establish this as firm support if we were to move all the way down here. But we shall see. The market shall tell us what we need to know. So other than that, on the 4-hour time frame, I think everything here is very well and clear. On Ethereum here on the weekly time frame, again, we have our first signs of weekly failure coming off of redlined volatility here as well. No bearish divergence did we really get from RSI here on the weekly, nor from TSI. Everything was just incredibly strong. But now Ethereum is down 5% on 5.5%, on the weekly, and we are kind of in that second week of redline volatility. So what do we need to know here? The big things we need to know on the weekly time frame about Ethereum. Well, with redline volatility and an overbought RSI, and prices showing the first signs of weekly weakness that we've seen in quite a while, we don't want to be entering any long positions on here. You can, of course, aggressively buy the dip, and of course, I do recommend that individuals DCA on their way up or down. But for Ethereum is just going to track right along with BTC's price. So if Ethereum was also to experience probably a more pronounced pullback, something on the order of like 30%, that would be putting us down to around 29.43. So kind of just, around $3,000, which would be a logical pullback target for Ethereum. The really juicy spot that I'd be targeting is always, of course, the EMA cluster between the 21 and the 55, and between 22.49 and 26.34. That's totally fine as well. But, overall, just, looking for what price is going to do is totally fine. Ethereum is going to track along with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin moves down, Ethereum is going to move down as well. Ethereum on the daily time frame here. Again, we've had this beautiful TSI run up. We have now gotten the TSI closing underneath on yesterday's candle. So that was the signal to be exiting long positions. So again, just following along with this simple free indicator strategy in the methodology of PTP would have gotten you out of your long swing. That would have got you in here and gotten you out here. Okay, this is how we trade. We trade the big moves. And we did have, of course, a little bit of RSI bearish divergence coming in here as well. All right, so RSI bearish divergence. Volatility has moved down, so we could anticipate the fact that volatility has come down, not below, well, yes, below 20%, and now expanding above 20%. We could expect that if we were to get a trending signal, and technically this is a trending signal to the downside, Ethereum on the daily time frame. So we are at the aggressive pullback zone. So if you do want to aggressively buy pullbacks on Ethereum, this is the spot to do it. And he bounces off the 21. But we have seen that Bitcoin, on this move to the downside, has really not been respecting those level. Well, actually, it has. Bitcoin in a similar situation, kind of came down, bounced off the EMA 21. Ethereum being a little bit slower to respond than any bullishness. So we did get a little bit of a buyback here. Potentially we could get a more pronounced buyback. Let's see here. If we kind of fib it out, 382, we could see price go back to about 37.69. That would be completely fine. And then the next level of support for Ethereum is coming in around the daily 55, which is sitting down around 31.32. So again, a lot of signs, a lot of signals pointing down at that pointing down at that $3,000 level. All right, guys. All right, so I guess that's the big takeaway. All right. We did get clear signs of this dump coming in on the Bitcoin 4-hour chart, which we were able to identify, and we did take the opportunity to swing short. We're just going to hold those positions open for now. We did close out almost all of our long risk. We are holding on to some DGen DeFi long risk because there is variance in how DeFi moves. It's not always directly correlated. Unfortunately, those are kind of moving down as well. So anyways, those were kind of longer term positions anyways, so that we plan to hold those until June. So life good. Ethereum showing the same weakness as Bitcoin, of course. We are, of course, at the kind of first important area of the 21 exponential moving average. So I'm not really expecting any big movements over the weekend. All right. I won't be 100% surprised if we do get a big move down over the weekend, but typically we don't get that. We typically do not get weekend dumps, right? Friday is closed. ETF flows will kick in on Monday, and Monday and Tuesday flows are the strongest. So we'll kind of see, I expect the Bitcoin ETF flows on Monday and Tuesday to continue to be incredibly strong. Yeah, so we had $1 billion of net inflows just a few days ago, and today down to 132.52 million. So we can see here that daily total flows have absolutely fallen off following yesterday's. Again, and Grayscale still showing net outflows of 257 million today. So, or excuse me, this was as of yesterday. All right, this was as of yesterday. So when market closes, we'll get updated information. We can still see here that IBIT's BlackRock ETF is still gobbling up the lion's share of all liquidity flowing into net flow. Sorry if you guys can't see that very well, but yeah, here's GBDC is outflow for yesterday, and IBIT's BlackRock's IBIT inflows. All right, as well. Okay, good stuff. That is essentially the market update for today. I just wanted to give you guys with that information. Overall, what is my general advice to individuals? I think that you need to follow your own heart. I think that you need to follow your own trading strategy. I am just telling you what I do. I have taken a short on BTC. I've taken no short risk on Ethereum. I still have a lot of spot Ethereum. I am going to view any more significant dumps as buying opportunities. So I'll be looking to purchase. I'll be looking to purchase Bitcoin at 60,000. I'll also be looking to purchase Bitcoin at 55,000 on a nice pullback. Would be very, very nice. Ethereum, very similarly, I'll look to add to my position down here at 3,000. I'll look to add to my position down here at 2,500 as well, if we do get something like that. All right, we'll go through the altcoins here in just a little bit and go over what I'm watching and what I'm thinking with our fair desk copy trade pairs.